Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So today we'll start. We'll continue the yesterday's session for the SNOP. So let me start sharing the screen. Okay. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see your screen.
So yesterday we had discussed about the SNOP process, what all things generally an SNOP process has, what are discussions happen in SNOP. Okay. So the in IBP we called like whatever SNOP things we wanted to do. So it generally start with your process management. Okay. So for process management to start with, we have to define the SNOP process. Okay. So in any company, they have some specific task or discussions happen whenever SNOP process start. Okay. So for that, a standard template we can create first of all, which will have all their predefined steps added, and whoever is the owner or reviewer of those steps, okay, who are the stakeholders who has to perform those activities, that we can add in our templates. Okay, that is the first step when we define the templates. Then and for then whenever a SNOP process start, we can use that particular template to create our own process. So every now and then we don't have to add those steps in our templates or in the SNOP process. We can directly use that readily available template for our SNOP process. Now if you have more SNOP different types of processes, you can anyways anytime you can create those multiple templates as well. There is no limitation for creating those templates. So how to create a template? This we have to open this manage process template app. So in click on you, we have to give certain details over here. For example, this is the SNOP process, annual SNOP process. We can give the owners who will be taking care of or who will be the part of this SNOP process, who can manage these processes. So I'll just name some, and what will be my time zone of this SNOP, because we may have stakeholders or participants who are from different time zones, right? So based on the business groups who are from which time zones, the SNOP process should start. So for example, I'll just add as of now Indian time zone. Now here we can give what are the work days of our SNOP process, right? So this is the, I think in the last release or latest thing, it has been added where we can choose the work days for our SNOP process. So what will be my generic work days which we can add over here? So the effect of it we'll see in our whenever we create a process over it. This is just a template part we are doing as of now. So once we have this template name is given, then we can add our steps over here. So in each and every steps, what will be my, like how the whatever is your first step, you can just give the name for it. I'll start with the generic demand review, and who is the owner of this task or step. Okay. So we can just give some owner name over here. Now in steps, who will be the participant groups? Okay, so this is the owner of your step. These are the who will be the participants who will be performing your different steps over here. So now we can, so you can create those groups and add certain people to this group. Okay, how to create a group? There is an app called which is called as user group, where we can add who all will be the participants in this user group. Okay, so this account which it is showing, the account number, this account number is nothing but is your jam account number. Okay, so whenever you get your jam license, this account number needs to be created so that on your jam part also you can log in and perform the different tasks which has been assigned to you. Once we have this user group is created, we can use that user group over here who will be performing your different tasks. Okay, so in these steps we can define when this task or when this step should get started. Okay. So since it's a first step we are adding, so here we are adding 0 relative start date. So whenever, so let's say SNOP process start from your first of your month, right? But there are chances that the demand review will happen after 4 or 5 days, right? So then you can give the relative start date as 4th day. Okay, so the start date will be of your SNOP, let's say first of month. Then this demand review step will start from 4th of your month. Okay, so this is how this relative start day play a role. I'll add one more step and we'll see how this uh, different steps will get realigned based on the relative start date and end date. Who will be the reviewer of that this step? We can add certain name to it. And what will be the duration of that step? Okay, so for example, 3 days is your duration and the jam group. Okay, so in that jam group, so this is kind of a Facebook groups were there, right? So like that we can create jam group over here, and whoever are the participants will get automatically added to this jam group over here. I'll just use the existing group as of now. Now we can
Jam is necessary to have SNOP or it is optional?
SNOP or jam you're saying?
Yeah, for jam is optional or it is necessary to have for SNOP?
No, it is not necessary.
Okay, then the jam group will not be there. Then how we can go ahead?
Yes. If you don't have jam, then it will not be there.
Okay, it's not necessary. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. So it's a demo system. We have all these things ready. So because we have to present it to certain clients, so this functionality, end-to-end functionality, we generally show because it is like kind of a good feature which is there as a part of SNOP. I'll show you how it will play a like important role in during SNOP. So after we have added those the jam group, what are your step settings? So we can automate our steps from here. So automate means we like the SNOP process, let's say if it is happening monthly or quarterly, it will start automatically based on certain conditions over here. So there are certain conditions like on start date. So start date means whenever your process gets start, or if your previous process get completed, then only your this next step will get started. Okay, or you can give some custom rules. So custom rules is nothing but the same steps are there, but you can just give some conditions, at least of these 3 conditions got satisfied or all of conditions are satisfied. Okay, so as of now I'll just give the start on start date, so we can give the time as well on which time it should get start, and automatically end step. So on whenever the tasks are completed, then the step will get automatically completed. So here there are certain other activities also we can schedule with this automation. Let's say I wanted to, whenever the step got started, we wanted to run an application job. Okay, so this templates will come, whatever application templates we have created, those will come automatically over here. We can select which thing should be started. For example, in demand review, some data cleansing needs to be happen, or some data needs to be deleted, right? So all those things we can create a template and add the job templates over here. Similarly, whenever it gets end, then also we can add a template over here, application job, which needs to be run. After we have added that step, now in each step we will have certain tasks, like data cleansing from demand planning perspective, who will be your participant group, and who all participants will be assigned that task. Similarly, I can add upload your promotions. Okay. I'm just adding some dummy task. So this task will be assigned to certain users. So I'll just add only one user as of now. So just to repeat it again, in that step we have added what all details are there in terms of group, participant groups, who can review it, when it should start, when it should get end based on the duration, what will be your jam group, the automation part where we can give the start date automatically when the step should get started, and when the step should get ended. Okay. We can give the time as well based on the start date, and your task, what are your different tasks are there. Now in this planning data permission, we can add which users needs to be given an access for your different key figures as your read and write access. So how to create those permissions over here? There's a different app for it which is called as your permission filters. Okay, so I've added one permission filter where we can give certain access in terms of your like the customers or for products for which the access needs to be given, what kind of access we wanted to give. Okay, so this is, let's say I wanted to restrict it, so I can give a key figure for which that access needs to be given. So we can add whatever consensus demand related key figure or whatever key figure we wanted to give an access over here. Similarly, this is for read write access. We can give filter access as well whenever they wanted to put a filter. Okay, so we can give, and here after adding those access over here, we can assign that filter to a particular user or a group as well. Okay, once this is added, we can use this user group or permission filter over here by using the filters which we have assigned, we have created. Okay, now after we have created this step, let's say this is your step 1 where demand review is getting created. Now I will add one more step, which is your next step, which is your supply review.
Pawan, under step 1, the demand review, where you have taken 2 tasks, right? So suppose if I'm running a task in parallel, how do you do that? If it is in sequence, I think it will take as per the selection that you have given. But if I want to run a couple of tasks, I don't want to waste my time. So let it run in parallel. So how do you do that?
So these
conditions.
Just a second. Let me.
Yeah.
So task can be run in parallel. There's no start date, end date. In that step, we have different tasks. So let's say this task has been assigned to 2 users. So this user can perform these 2 tasks and get it completed. There's no validity of this particular task over here.
Okay, say for example, I have 2 key figures chosen, and the 2 key figures are responsible with different participants. So they can run or upload the file parallelly so that it is not affecting my planning engine. So in that case, do we need any condition?
No, you just need, that process needs to be defined who will be responsible for which kind of key figures or which for the data for which product or geography. That you need to control. Okay, because if you are giving a task, let's say demand upload, right, or forecasting needs to be done, then if both the task is assigned to more than one user, then anyways you have to control for which product that person can perform that task, right? If single task has been assigned to more than one user, then it will not make sense to like give it to more than one user. Otherwise the like based on the inputs which is given by the different users, the output may get changed. So that control, because in like whenever any SNOP process happen, there also the participants are different for different type of activity which they need to do.
Okay.
Right. But in steps we can give, when we can control that overlap thing which you are saying, that's what I was going to. So that's why I need to add one more step just to show you. So right now it is showing one step only, when it will get started, when it will get ended. Let's say if I add one more step over here, the same participant group I'm going to use now here. So this relative start day, let's say if I don't give any relativity over here, then that overlap with previous step will be there. So I'll not add any relative start date. Let us see the effect of it. Now when I save it, then it will show parallel because I haven't given any relative start date. Now let's say if I give this is your from second day, then this relative end day will also get updated and it will show the effect in our template as well. After 2 days, this relative task has been added. Okay, I think someone is not on mute. Okay. Yeah. So whatever the start date, whatever the relative start date we have given over here, accordingly those steps will get realigned over here. Okay. So these steps can overlap because the supply review, for example, if I take the example, this demand review and supply review example over here, supply review, the steps may not be, some steps are there which are not dependent on your demand review get completed. So those can run parallelly, right? Just to keep one thing in your mind, whenever I'm creating these steps, it's not like it is going to automatically start your demand review and supply review. For example, when I'm adding, okay, clean the data, so someone has to do that cleansing. Okay, it's not like that this template is anyway going to perform those activity automatically. Okay, this is kind of a process management we are doing. It is not going to complete your different task or steps over here automatically. Okay, now we have created this template. Whatever template we have created, we can use that template to create our own process. Okay, how to do that? We can perform it from template only, or we can go to your manage process app where you can use any template to create a process. So let's say create a process over here. So that name is automatically going to assign. I can just create or edit it. Now this is your start date of your SNOP process. Okay, so let's say I've given in from today the start will be there for your SNOP process to get started. Now I'll save it. Okay. So here, whatever task we have created, those are tasks or steps are assigned over here in this SNOP process. The Gantt chart view, where we can see the work days which we have defined are marked as blank over here. Okay. Now for all these steps, the tasks which we have created or assigned, based on that, different tasks are created for each user over here. Okay. In process feed, we can see what all process are getting created. It's just kind of a log. Okay. So in demand review, supply review, nothing has happened as of now. Only the process has created. Okay. Now I'll start one step over here manually as of now. Okay, I have to go to the process list first. Okay, let me save it. So this is the process list. This is the app, manage process app, where we can see all the current SNOP process. So this is the SNOP process we have created. Okay, we can see what is the start date and end date, how many days are remaining, or what is the overall progress of this SNOP process. Okay, let me create for today. Okay, I think it's today's Sunday. That is why it is showing like that. Just a second. Okay. I think I have to update the process owner name over here. Then only I'll be able to start the process. Okay, let me open it.
As said, today is Sunday. You want to make Sunday as working day?
No, actually, why this? I'm not able to start the process because the process owner is different. I have to add that person. Now let me create the process. Yeah. So that is why it was not showing, because the login which I am using, that person was not added for this as a process owner. That is why I was not able to start the process. So here,
so as we are doing this in web interface, users will actually work only in the Excel database, right?
Yes, yes, that person will be performing those activity in Excel, and after that they will update the status of those process, those steps or tasks which has been assigned to them. So as of now I'm starting the SNOP process. Okay, the first time I'm starting. Now whoever the task has been assigned, the task will get created and they will see those notification in Jam. Okay, so this step status is in progress. So when we see the demand review over here, all those tasks will get created and they will be assigned to those stakeholders which we have given the name, mentioned the name in our different tasks for all these steps. Okay. For example, in supply review, since it has not started, so it is not showing anything. But for demand review, whatever tasks are created, they has been assigned to a user. Okay. Now, let's say whoever is the task is assigned, they will see those notification in Jam. How to open a Jam, I'll show you. So in your IVP, there's an app or there's a tile call which is called as collaboration. This task. Collaboration. Okay. So whenever you open this collaboration app, it will open a different UI, different URL over here. Okay. So that needs to be configured whenever you have the Jam this Jam license available to you. So here, just to give an overview of this Jam, we have all those groups over assigned to here. We can see whatever task has been assigned to that particular user as a timeline. Okay. So this is a timeline of a person. Now, what all task has been assigned, we can directly go to this task option and see, okay, what is the task assigned? What is the overdue task? Okay, what is task assigned to others, that we can see. Now, whatever task is assigned, from here, I can update the status of that task. Okay. If you don't have Jam, then as a person, you have to go to the task and mark it as complete. So when I marked it as a complete, if I go to our process and refresh it, let me open it again. Okay, so this SNOP process got started, and overall progress it is showing how much the percentage has been completed. What is the current step which is happening over here? Okay. You can see in demand review what task has been created. Now, So this is the view of a process owner. Okay. Now, as someone from your higher management who wants to see what is happening as an SNOP process, they don't get into this kind of a technical view, right? Because this is too technical for them to understand. Okay. So for that, we can create a dashboard, okay, for a particular user, and they can see the status of that dashboard whenever they like log in into this IBP. Okay. So for that, we have to create a dashboard. There's an app which is called as Dashboard Advanced. So I can create a dashboard where, let's say this annual. So under this annual dashboard, we can add certain charts, graphs, okay, and your process templates as well. Okay, whatever SNOP process we have given. So here I can add charts. How to create the charts, that I'll cover in our supply chain control tower session. But I'm just giving you what are the different options are there. What are the alerts that will cover in the supply chain control tower. This supply chain network also we can add. We can, so I already covered this supply chain network, right? What are the how we can see the network has been connected. So that also we can add over here. The process management instance, that means your SNOP process. Okay. So I'll just, so this is the SNOP process we have created. I'll add this as a chart. Now here we can see whatever steps we have defined as a part of our dashboard of your process SNOP process, and we can see the status, who are the step owners, who are the reviewers, who are the steps is assigned. You can see one task which we have created or we have completed. It is showing the status, and out of your 4 tasks, 1 task is completed. So that is why it is showing 25% over here. Okay. Now let's say if I complete 1 more task, so this status will get changed in terms of percentage and over the task status as well. So if I go to Jan, this is the upload promotion task was there. So I'll just mark it as complete. If I go to my dashboard and refresh it, it will get it updated with the task status over here, and this percentage will also get updated over here. Okay, so in our last session I told you that this percentage only get updated or only get changed once you have your JAM license with you. If you don't have JAM license, even if you mark it as complete, it will be, or whatever status of your different tasks are getting changed, this percentage will always show 0%. Okay, so this is the limitation of this SNOP dashboard. You need to have your JAM aligned license with you, then only the status of your different steps will show properly in terms of your percentage. Okay, you can change those status, okay, but you will be able to see the progress only if your task is your this license is assigned to you. Okay, any questions so far? Okay.
So when you say the a task is completed, what is that task actually is doing?
So this is, it is kind of a process which we have mapped over here. Okay, it is on the background, it is not doing any activity. It is kind of a discipline which we have.
For example, upload promotion, these are all part of demand process already, which have been already done. So what separately we have to do in SNOP?
So that's what I'm saying. This is a process management we are doing over here. We are not up. So this task or steps are not triggering any background job over here. Okay, if we wanted to add any templates that we can add, but activity in terms of your like the manual activities there, upload any data or pull any data, that needs to be done separately. But this is kind of a process. Whenever we have done any task, we can update the status over here. So this is kind of a visibility which we are giving to any process owner or your higher management, what exactly is happening in terms of your different tasks which needs to be completed before your SNOP process is supposed to be happen. Okay, so what we are doing, whatever demand review, whatever supply review we have done, we can just keep track of it by using this process management. So here, whatever like communication which needs to be there in terms of your email communication, that what is the like different status they wanted to see, that status can be managed from here.
With this tool, the executives don't need to come together. They can see in their offices what is the status or something like that.
Yes. So they can see from these dashboards. So this dashboard, as of now, we have added only the SNOP process. Once we create the different charts, that also we can add. Just to show you one example.
No, I think my question is, okay, you are doing everything here, dashboards and results. They don't need to meet then for SNOP meeting.
No, in SN generally, so before SNOP, whatever processes are there, right? Like the demand review, supply review. Okay. So the executives generally, anyway, we are going to meet on those whatever day SNOP is there. But before that, whatever steps needs to be completed, right? Or whatever task needs to be completed, from that process management point of view, this this task or these templates we can create and start our SNOP activities beforehand. Okay. So this dashboards as a part of like we can create different dashboards. This is SNOP. We can create our sales dashboard. Like we can give different names to it. We can add some charts. I'll just give an example. What are different charts we have created? So these are the charts we can add. I'll show you in supply chain control tower session how to create those charts and add them. But just an example of dashboards.
Top left corner, it shows as a planning area. Do we need to enter something there?
No. This is not mandatory. This is just for the filter purpose.
How we know which field is mandatory?
So whenever you add a dashboard, you just notice over here, this is not specific to any planning area. Okay, so you can add multiple dashboards, multiple charts from different planning area over here. Because when we are giving any access to any business owner, they wanted to see at the business level, right? They are not particular about what planning area we are using. So here we will add the charts from any planning area in a single dashboard, and they can see it. What are the different status of different like demand planning or capacity planning or your supply planning in terms of different charts.
But if why is asking that planning area field?
So this is for a filter. I'm saying I can add the dashboard from n number of planning area over here. If I wanted to see for a particular planning area, I can put the filter. I can click on go. This is for the search, not for the like to create your dashboard. For example, here in the list, we have all those filter option over here. Similarly, in particular dashboard also, we can put the filters.
So this dashboard, where we linked from which planning area the data should come?
So this dashboard, as I told you, it is not specific to any planning area. Whenever we wanted to add, we can just create any dashboard and select which things needs to be added. For example, I have added the process management.
Okay, but the data should come from where? Which planning area?
So whatever things you are adding, those things are built on a planning area. For example, when I'll be creating a chart, I'll be using a specific planning
there
area.
You will connect a planning
yeah,
area.
yes. But
And
while adding those things over here, you can add all those like charts, your alerts, your process management in a single dashboard. It's not a planning area specific, because it doesn't make any sense, because this dashboard will be accessed by your business owners or your higher management. They wanted to see directly what are the status of different planning in terms of demand planning, supply planning, whatever charts you are creating. Okay. So this is the SNOP dashboard we have created. The other dashboard we'll see in our supply chain control tower. Now, once we have created or configured this SNOP processes over here, the next step which we can do is, in a SNOP, we can perform our scenario planning. Okay, so for that we have to log in our IBP Excel add-in, and we can create our scenarios over there. Any question in this SNOP process? Okay, so we'll start with this scenario planning. Okay. So I'm just using a sample product over here. What is its demand? What is its production, which is currently happening? Okay. Now let's say as a supply planner, I wanted to perform certain simulations, right? So then how we can do that simulations? Okay. So I can change. So this is a baseline. This is your baseline version, base version. That means your real data as of now. Okay. But let's say I wanted to change something, but instead of updating any data, right, whenever we like put any numbers, we have to save it to perform any planning run, right? But without saving the data, I just wanted to see, okay, let's say the demand just changed. Now I wanted to see what will be the effect of it. Then what we can do is, from this simulate button, we can perform those simulations. Okay, so these are your what if simulation we can perform. So whatever operators were there for your SNOP, these operators we can configure to see at your simulations as well. So whenever an operator we are creating, we can, there, if you remember, there were certain option, batch or your interactive, right? So whenever, based on that, these simulation options will come over here, whatever operators are there. So for example, I want to take a heuristic run without saving it. Just remember, without saving, I'm doing this heuristic run. So it will show the effect of it, right? It has not changed the data on the back end. How we can check that? If I refresh it, it will show me the real value again. Okay, so this is the what if scenario capability we can perform over here. Now let's say I wanted to perform the simulation or the scenarios, and I wanted to keep it, because I'm just, whenever I'm running this what if scenario, I'm not updating it, the backend data, right? But let's say for my, as a planner, for my reference purpose, I wanted to keep that scenario. Whenever that scenario I wanted to create by changing certain data, right? Then what we can do is, we can use this scenario create option. So let's say this is your demand change scenario. Okay. So whenever I'm creating this scenario, I can share it with other user, but until and unless I share it, they will not be able to see it. Okay. Let's say I'm creating a scenario over here. So you can see this scenario column has appeared. Okay. So how it is appeared? In our view, this scenario got created and by default it has been assigned. Okay. Let's say in my scenario, I want to change the number now. Okay. To save it. So if I wanted to check the original values, I just need to select my baseline scenario, which is my original data. So if I select it, it will show me both the values over here. Okay. Now whatever scenarios I have created, I want to take a run from your, so we can take this run from your simulation option as well, which is your what if scenarios. But let's say I wanted to keep it because when I'm performing this what if, it is not updating my backend data. I wanted to update it as a backend data. Then I have to take a run in my scenario over here, whatever scenario we have created. Okay. This version thing is different. This scenario is different. Okay. So in a version, we can create multiple scenario. For example, with this base version, these are the scenarios over here. Okay. One thing to remember, whenever we are like selecting any base version, it's not like whatever, let's say if I select any other version, this scenario list will not get updated based on like what for example, this base version has this baseline scenario, demand change scenario as of now. It is not like in if I select another version, it will get updated. Okay. So whenever you take a run, you should know which scenario and under which version you wanted to take a run. When I take this heuristic run in my scenario over here, it will just got failed. Let me run it again. Why it got failed? Let me check why it is failing. I'm just checking why it is failing. I think there's some issue, so I need to check why it is failing at this operator level. But when I take it, this run, failed again. Take any optimizer. This I need to check why it is showing failing at our operator level. It is running properly at our simulation level. That I will check. Okay, so we'll check at the simulation level as of now. So whenever this scenario which we have created, whatever scenarios, let's say I wanted to see, I have created, I can go to this manage. I can share this scenario with my colleagues over here. So then also after I have shared with them, then only in this manage window they will be able to see all these scenarios which I have created. Now I can manage those scenarios from here by promoting. When I'm promoting it, what it will do is it will replace your base version with your scenario data. For example, if I promote it, so your baseline version also get updated with your scenario data over here. Now we have created, this is for demand, right? For capacity also, we can create certain different type of templates over here. So we can see by this what if scenarios, and we can compare, okay, what was the demand change scenario and what was the baseline version, and we can review them. There are certain formatting we can apply. Okay, what is the capacity usage happening or any utilization which is going over 100%. So that template and that formatting we can add, which we have discussed in our previous session, where whatever template or whatever key figure I wanted to give the different formatting. So I can give some conditional formatting over here by using this conditional option. So this is how we can perform our scenario planning. Now talking about the different versions. Okay, we were only created these scenarios in a base version only, but let's say I have different versions, so I can use that as well. Okay, so I am not sure if it will have the data, but let's try. Okay, I don't think it doesn't have any data as of now, but we can use this versions as well as scenarios at the same point of time just by selecting this templates or filter option over here. How to manage the version? So whatever versions we have created, we can use it for our different copy purpose or delete purpose, and we can run our different operators in a particular version as well. Okay, so in one of our demos, the client wants to see those, like they in APO they were using different version planning, so that we have configured over here. They were using different type of master data. In one version they were performing unconstrained planning within optimizer only, so for that we have created a different version. Okay, the only difference which we have done is in our first version where they were using unconstrained planning, we have marked those resources as unconstrained. Okay, so just to show you, I think in supply we have covered that. So whenever you wanted to change any specific version related master data, we can just select the fields over here of different versions, and we have marked those constraints as unconstrained over here for a particular version, and for the next version you are taking the constraint run. So for that we have maintained those versions or those master data for that version with different values. So this version doesn't have data as of now, but let me check if other has. So I think why it is not showing, because the master data for these versions is not maintained separately. So where we can see that, we go to configurations. In these versions, yeah, so whatever we have created, the master data is not maintained separately for it. Okay, okay, it is marked as version specific. So what we can do is we can copy the base version data to our different versions from here. Okay, so it got completed. So I think if I refresh it, so we have this data at version specific as well. Now if we wanted to take a run at our different version level, that also we can perform. Okay, so for this different version also we can take a run and we can compare with our actual version as well. So if I add scenarios as well, let's see, I think it will not show. So for annual, it is not showing that scenario which we have created because that scenario was for only baseline version. Okay, so for this version, it is showing only baseline scenario, but for base version, it is showing both the scenarios. Okay. So that way we can review whatever changes we are doing at our scenario level or at the version level. Okay. Any questions for this scenario planning? Okay. Yeah. So regarding the SNOP process, which we have discussed yesterday, these are the things which we can do for our configuring the SNOP process and the templates, the dashboards, the jam thing. These are the 4 parts which we have we can perform. So these are the steps I just listed. We can create the process templates, we can create the groups, the permissions. Using the templates, we can create the process, start it. The dashboards, we can create the jam where we can update the status of your task. The scenario planning, the what if scenarios, we can perform in our Excel view and we can share those scenarios with our colleagues as well.
So the SNOP steps, as you mentioned, it's very simple as we look. But
yeah, it looks like SNOP, that, but when you do it,
SNOP cycle starts with the history extraction from your SAP. It starts from there, and then you are creating a statistical forecast. Then the demand planner will take this statistical forecast to each marketing team, that is a marketing manager and sales manager, and they have their different product family group level, where they interact and they correct the values, go to sales again, they'll look back to your finance numbers and then they'll correct again. This will go back to the operation team after 10 days. Then operation team along with demand planner, they sit together and they decide, okay, whether you have sufficient supply, sufficient capacity to fulfill the demand, and then they confirm the consensus. It's only a rough cut. Once this consensus is released, again they'll go back to the detailed level planning. So it will take around 15 days. But in your process, you have shown us the demand review and supply review, where the demand review takes the majority what can I say process, 10-15 days of work is basically on this. So I just wanted to understand how the disaggregation works for the marketing team, and if they are going to override some value, how it would work. Do the marketing team has a different key figure, and will that refer to your statistical key figure for your disaggregation, or how it is?
Okay, so for those steps which you just have mentioned in demand review, what are the different activities has been done by different stakeholders? Okay, so for those, let's say you are saying for the sales review, right? So sales review, they have different planners, right? Based on the maybe geography or your product family. Okay, so for those we have to create different templates first of all, and once the templates are created, those activities are assigned. If they are given a different geography, okay, so for those geography, we can create different key figures first of all, and in those key figures, it's the key figure is let's say sales review is performing their number at the aggregation level, so that disaggregation we have to define. Okay, so the disaggregation can be at your in the expression we can give proportion in terms of your proportion of your sales history key figure first of all, or we can give the different weightage as well, how the disaggregation happen, and we can also add the statistical forecasting as your proportion reference whenever a number is entered at your aggregated level first of all. Okay, now if you're saying, let's say the sales review has been done, the marketing team will add their number, update their number, then what we generally do is whatever key figure we are creating for our marketing team, okay, what we generally do is whatever has been updated in your sales review key figure, we can generally copy those values in your marketing key figure as it is. Okay, so
that is not right always,
no, that is not right. So that's what I'm saying. Why we are copying it? They don't have. So let's say they wanted to update only some month values or some product family values, right? So they will accept some values by not changing it, but if they wanted to edit some values, then they will update at your aggregation level. Okay, so why we have copied? Otherwise, the whatever sales review has been done, marketing team will have to rework again just by taking reference of it. But since we can handle it by copying the data from your sales review, so the marketing team will only update the values which they wanted to change, because they wanted to. So it's kind of a review of a previous step, right? So we will maintain the original values of sales team in a different key figure, but for marketing team we'll copy it as it is so that they can change it or update it or remove anything which they wanted to perform. But generally they add some values, right? Some for some months or for some product family. So that they generally do by keeping using the particular key figure for marketing forecast. That kind of configuration then we have to do if we have those different steps. Now let's say your demand review is completed, right? So your consensus demand will get calculated based on some logic. So generally some weightage is assigned to your different key figures. For example, for your statistical forecasting, some weightage is assigned. Your sales review will get some weightage. Your demand review will get some weightage.
Depends from business to business. Yeah.
Correct. Business to business. So the consensus demand will calculate, the calculation needs to be added by giving the weightage. Now also one more thing, generally that weightage also get changed over time. Okay, so that control also they wanted to give. So same thing, when we create that weightage key figure, so that weightage we can maintain at the time dependent level, since it's at the key figure. For some month it is, let's say 50% for your statistical forecasting, say 20% for your sales team, or 30% for your marketing team. Then on different months you can maintain different weightage. So based on those weightage, your calculation will get updated for your consensus demand. So once your this consensus planning get over, right, so all those steps or tasks which has been assigned to different users, that needs to be added or updated in your SNOP process templates or tasks which has been assigned to.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So as I remember just one more thing, when I was updating, if you notice, when I was updating the task status of your like the in our jam, okay, that status get updated in our dashboard as well. But you can change those status of your task only in jam. Okay, so the SNOP process will get started, their dates will get updated, but their status of different tasks will only be changed in your jam only, not anywhere in IBP.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when we were checking this, where is that dashboard? So this task status we have updated in jam. Okay, they will not get updated anywhere else. Okay, so if we have those only this IBP license, not jam, you can just update the status of your step, not task. Okay, so you should have your license for jam, then only this dashboard will make an overall sense. Otherwise you can just see the stakeholders and what is the status of your steps, not the tasks. It will be like that only. So if I just check this one, it will be like this only, there without any status, because there is no license of jam with you. So this jam group name will not show for you there. Only this status detail, only the task details. Their status will remain like this only.
Okay.
So they are forcing clients to purchase jam anyhow. It's the cost is not that much. That's what I've heard, but clients has to accept this thing if they wanted to use SNOP.
Yeah, but at least initially they should have not given that.
Yes, maybe, yeah, maybe some people have started accepting jam as a functionality, then they might started charging for it, but from initial level only they are
people think
given.
that we have too many integrations and things will go complex.
Correct. So you saw that, right, that the jam UI is different over here. Okay, and one more thing, the email notification also will get be done from this jam only. Okay, so I have one screenshot with me. So that email notification from our administrator has been disabled as of now. So that is not we are getting any updation status as an email, but it was done. So previously I have the this kind of email we get from jam. Okay, this is the task, this was the current task, and it has been assigned, and what was the status of it. So that we can perform. So that kind of notification has been done. So with IBP there is no email notification as of now. Okay, and from your this jam also, what different things you can do, when I was saying you can discuss issues, whatever things, so you can just put the comments, you can write your different team members, like start supply review. So when I do this, they will get this email and this notification in their collaboration app.
Okay.
So that kind of thing we can do with the Jam, the task management, and also those your status update of your different tasks. So I think here also it will show. So whatever task has been assigned, we can see from here as well. So that we can control over here. But this Jam, initially when we get the license, this integration needs to be happen with your IVP, which I believe it should not be there, because then you have to maintain separate systems. So this was the part from the Jam perspective. We can so next session on next Saturday, I thought of we can start early because the session time is colliding with the upgrade activity. If we can start around 1.5 hours early, then there will not be any issue with the response thing which I wanted to show you. It should be fine, right?
For me, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, good for me.
Yeah, so because
Fine it is.
yeah, it will not overlap with the upgrade activity, and it will I don't know it will be there or not, but the time is remain same, which is there, like the same for our session. So we'll start around 1.5 hours early so that we can cover the response, integration, planning, and scenarios.
So we start at 7:30 p.m. IST.
Yes, that's what I'm planning, but we'll ask everyone in the WhatsApp group, and we'll update there only. But so one more thing, we'll have session only on Saturday, because on Sunday I'm traveling back to India, so we'll not be able to have any session on that day. Only one session next week. Okay, so we'll continue with the response scenarios next week, next session.
Okay, thanks, Pawan.